Welcome to the Rocking Horse Dreams. Today we're going to take a look at Nuclear Winter 68, a chit-draw, tactical-level science fiction wargame designed by Petre Tutunea and published by Lock and Load Publishing. The game takes place in a hypothetical future in which World War II went nuclear in Germany. Players control squads of NATO, newly surfaced Third Reich, or Black Hand troops. The Black Hand are citizens of Germany badly mutilated by the nuclear fallout of the walled-in Germany over the last 22 years. Inside the box you get rules, a mounted board depicting the nuclear wasteland, 352 counters, and 3 dice. The units for the game are broken roughly into platoons. The units have a formation and insignia, speed, armor, high explosive firepower and range, and armor-piercing firepower and range. They have a full strength and a reduced strength side. The commanders have a command radius, a radio range bonus and range, and a local bonus. The local bonus affects units in the same hex as the commander. The radio range bonus applies to units within that range. To set up the game, follow the instructions per the scenario, placing units and commanders on the board. Commanders are placed with any other unit and don't count towards stacking limits. Also, place the appropriate activation or event chits in an opaque container. Each turn consists of action phases and a cleanup phase. The number of action phases per turn is the number of activation markers in the cup at the beginning of the turn minus the number of factions playing. For example, 7 chits are in the chit cup at the beginning of the turn, and there are 2 factions playing that would consist of 5 activation markers being drawn, including events. When pulling activation markers, a single formation may not be activated 3 times in a row. This count spans events in between turns. Alright, let's get started. Players take turns drawing a chit. Whichever formation had their activation marker drawn now takes the following steps for their action phase. First, they remove any finished markers from that formation. They might be there from previous activations or from opportunity fire. The second in command may now take command if the commander was killed or the player wants to demote the commander. To do this, flip the commander chit and assign it to another unit. Check for units outside of the command radius of the commanders and mark them as such. Out-of-contact units may only move up to half their speed. The commander or second in command may now attempt to rally their shaken troops. The Black Hand are automatically rallied. To rally, the player rolls 2 dice, and if the result is higher than the commander's command radius, the unit is rallied. There are plus die roll modifiers for being within the local or radio range of the commander. Off-board artillery or airstrikes, if available, may now be called by a commander or recon unit within line of sight to the target hex. To do this, roll a die. On a result of 1, the attack misses and instead strikes an adjacent hex chosen by the defending player. On a result of 2 to 6, the hex is hit and the attack is carried out. Next, weapons may be dropped or picked up. If weapons are provided in the scenario's order of battle, they don't have to be allocated until they are used. Finally, the formation may take their actions of moving, attacking, or reinforcing their position. Reinforcing consists of infantry laying sandbags, minefields, or smoke. Sandbags add to the defense of a hex, smoke affects line of sight, and minefields attack units moving through them. The rules on this don't specify how many markers of each infantry unit gets, but it has been suggested by the designer that each infantry unit only gets 1 smoke marker and 1 minefield. Also, I've seen someone else house rule not being able to lay minefields in the occupied hex. A unit can move and or attack each activation. If it only moves, it may move its full speed, accounting for any terrain modifiers crossed. If a unit moves and attacks, it can move then attack or attack then move, moving at half speed, rounded down, and suffering a -2 to their attack. A moving unit is susceptible to opportunity fire by any enemy units not marked as finished. When attacking, take the firepower value of the weapon being used, depending on the armor of the defending unit, red against red and orange against orange. Add 2d6 and add or subtract any modifiers based on movement, group fire, range, or assault to get the attack value. The defender gets their armor number plus any bonuses for terrain or reinforcements for the defense value. The difference between the attack value and the defense value is the number of hits the unit takes. Hits are taken thus. The first hit inflicts a shaken status on the unit. The second hit reduces the unit and it remains shaken. The third hit destroys it. Any armored fighting vehicle or air unit that is destroyed leaves a wreck in its wake. After all units of a formation have activated, mark any units that moved as finished. Draw another activation marker and start a new action phase. If the action phase just played was the last of this turn, move to the cleanup phase. During this phase, all finished and chemical markers are removed from the board. All smoke markers are reduced 1 level, being removed if they are already at level 1. A second in command may also take command now as in the action phase. Any supply points gained this turn may be used to refit units per the scenario. Any formations that were completely eliminated this turn have their activation marker removed from the game. All others, including any new formations, are put into the activation cup. Advance the turn marker and play another turn. If this was the last turn, check for victory to determine a winner per the scenario. And that is Nuclear Winter 68. I absolutely love this game. The theme is awesome, and I love the feel of the post-nuclear world. The chip play draws great opposed or solitaire. I have some complaints about the rules being laid out in a confusing manner. Some issues aren't fully addressed, like the minefields, and abbreviations are often used without first being defined, but they are easy to read once you can find what you're looking for. People have complained about the colors of the map, but I really like it. Mine, however, has some warping issues, which can be a pain. I just stick some plexiglass over it to take care of that. Also, the NATO and Third Reich counters are a little close in color, but that's something I can deal with. My only real beef with the game, in the end, is its box size. It's about 1/4 inch too shallow, which makes it awkward to keep upright on the shelf. Either a paper map or a deeper box would have fixed that. In the meantime, I just store it flat on my shelf. All the little component complaints that I have don't take anything away from the gameplay, and that's really what this game boils down to. It's a fun, quick, light sci-fi war game that I keep coming back to. The scenarios offer a timeline for a story that keeps unfolding through play, and I'm on board.